Hello and heartily welcome to today's video. We have a new topic, and for the next 4 weeks we're gonna talk about sugar. Sugar sweetens up our life, so it has a pretty important role in our life, right? And I would like to explore with you what sugar means for us as a nutritional value, when we exercise, and also how it influences our thinking. And I'm glad that you're here with me. My name is Dominika Hanschk, so let's get started. Well, sugar is pretty important, right? We all love sugar. Sugar makes our life sweet, and that's something we've learned already as little childs. Because when we got our first nutritional meal, our mother's milk, whilst breastfeeding, there's sugar in there, right? It's galactose, and that tastes sweet, and sweet is a taste that's pretty important to us because Mother Nature has made it this way that everything that tastes sweet is good. So when we eat berries, when we eat fruit, we taste the sweetness, and that's a very, very good taste. We love it. We want more, and that's good because in summer, when it was usually available, just think about 10,000 years back. In summer, you could get fruit, you could get vegetables, you could get berries, which were sweet. And they actually were there so that you would eat lots of them to prepare for the next winter when they wouldn't be available. So Mother Nature actually gave us the sweet taste buds, and she doesn't put any limit on eating something sweet. And that's what is difficult for us nowadays, because when we eat sweets or when we eat something sweet, we want to eat it all the time, and we can't stop ourselves because it tastes so nice, it is so lovely, and we just want more. But more doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for us anymore, right? I'd like to invite you to join me on on a question that a fasting guest had last week, and she actually described to me a situation that she found fasting very interesting because she was eating a lot less this week, and she would still be fine. She felt good. It was all fine, it was all good, and she didn't understand how at home it was different, where she would kind of like eat, have dinner, then sit down in front of the television, and she would have the cravings that she would need some sweets, and she need some more food whilst watching TV. So what's so different when fasting? Well, one thing, it's very clear. Fasting or going on a holiday fasting is quite different from your usual life, right? So you can't quite compare one with the other. When you're on a holiday, you have less stress, you have less anxiety, you have less triggers that actually kick you into emotional behavior that you crave sweets. So that's one thing, right? So it's a different kind of situation you're in. But the other thing is that when you're fasting, you're obviously looking at certain aspects of your nutrition. So, for example, the Buchinger fasting people, they only have fluids. So there's limited amount of fluids that actually are sweet. So they have it at the start of the day to get ready, to have some energy to go through the day. But other than that, they don't have any carbohydrates in their liquids, which taste sweet and that give them a lot of sugary moments, right? Now, she's a different kind of faster. We call them Basenfasten people, and that's something like an alkaline cleanse. So you reduce your food intake, but you limit the foods that you eat to things that basically help your body to build up alkaline resources. And these kind of foods are fruits, vegetables, salads, nuts and seeds, and that's it. So you have no sugary things, no sweets. So you don't, for example, have many starchy things. Yes, you have potatoes, sweet potatoes, but they are lower in starch than, for example, cereals like wheat. Yeah. And wheat, in its way, in the end, it's only sugar for the body, because it gets broken down. It gets broken down in sugar elements, and so it's nothing than sugar. So if you're on an alkaline cleanse here in the hotel, you have lots of vegetables, lots of salads, lots of fruits, and yes, nuts and seeds. So you have some protein and you have some fatty acids, which are also important in your diet. But you're mainly, eating vegetables, salad and fruit. And if you look at vegetable salads and fruits, yes, they deliver some carbohydrates, but not that many, right? So the diet, the nutritional value of the diet is completely different. So you fill up on all those healthy ingredients, so you're satisfied, you're happy with the food intake, but at the same time, you're a lot more satiated, and it keeps you satiated longer, so that you don't have cravings to actually have something sweet again and again and again. And if you combine these two things, so one thing, that a situation being on holiday is a lot less stressful. You don't have anxiety thinking about this, that and the other, and all the things that needed to be done, and the kids looked after, and this and that. So it's a different kind of situation that doesn't trigger the emotional part of eating, the emotional part of having something sweet or needing something sweet. And at the same time, you've changed your diet to contain a lot less sugar, and therefore you don't feel the need having to eat something sweet at night. Now, when you're at home, I actually advise you to not go cold turkey and not having any sweets at night anymore, because changing a behavior, changing a pattern that's appearing isn't very easy. Yeah. So you're doing something, and you're doing it repeatedly. You're doing it over and over again. I mean, just imagine if you've got a routine like watching television and having sweets in the evening, like ice cream or sugary drinks, etc. This behavior has grown over the days, months, or even years. And now you're coming and saying, I want to be healthy, I'm going to do things differently. It's not easy. But what you can do is, it's a behavior pattern, and you can actually change that behavior pattern. So you still have this behavior. I'm sitting in front of the telly and I'm having something, but you're not having something sweet, you're having something else, okay? And in that situation, I actually advise you to do a radical different thing. Yeah. So, for example, if you're usually having sweets or ice cream and you're eating something, why don't you try to change that routine and have a cup of tea? I know that sounds strange. It's something completely different, but it helps you because you're doing something that has something to do with tasting. So in a way, it's similar, yeah. But at the same time, it's completely different, because drinking tea is obviously not eating sweets. It's a lot less sweet, right? If you just have fruit tea, you could have fruit tea, yeah, which tastes kind of sweet, but doesn't have any calories in it. And that's a completely different behavior in that way. And if you try to change that behavior and you do that day after day after day, it only takes about 30 days and you have a new routine, right? So trying to go cold turkey from one thing to the other, it's not easy. But doing it with substituting part of the routine, that's actually easy, and that's my advice, doing that. And I hope that my guest will do the same when she gets back home, because she's experienced here what good it does to her body, to the way she feels, the way she reacts, yeah. And it would be lovely to see her implementing that into her life. And maybe it's something you can do yourself, right? Well, I don't want to go on about sugar for ages today, because we have a couple more weeks coming when we talk about what role sugar plays in our nutrition, yeah, how our body reacts on sugar, and what we can do to have a healthy relationship with sugar in our diet. And then we're gonna explore how sugar actually, or how our body reacts during exercise and what role sugar can play in it, and also how sugar plays a role in our thinking, because sugar is like a confetti party for our brain. Our brain loves sugar because it is fast and quick energy boost, which we can get with sugar. But obviously there are certain aspects we also need to consider, and I'm looking forward to discussing them with you. So that's it for today. Bye bye for now.